Library Board will please come to order. We will begin with the, what you consider the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Alma can just in time. I turn it over to you, Alma.
Okay. We'll do the roll call. Dawson?
Here.
Jeriga?
Here.
Peters?
Here.
Shahabit?
Here.
Here. And Gates?
I'm here.
And Priest?
We're not sure. She may be joining us later, we hope. So good. There, a quorum is present and we will proceed. Approval of agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and
Second.
a support by Dawson, moved by Jeriga, supported by Dawson, that the agenda be approved. Any discussion, any changes or suggestions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. And now we are to approve the regular meeting minutes, which were in your packet.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
There's a motion
I'll second that.
and support, moved by Dawson, supported by Jeriga, that we approve the minutes as submitted. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved with no dissenting votes. Public comment should move pretty quickly today. This is the time for public comment, and I don't see any public. So we will move on to committee reports, and we will move on to the building committee.
We had 3 meetings, although I cannot remember, and I can't find my notes on the DDA, meeting with the DDA folks. So if anybody wants to
We'll
talk about that. You want me to do the other
Do,
one?
do we want to do that? Was that the first one? Was that?
That was the first one in June.
Okay, Mary Jane and John, and Mary Jo and I were all at the DBA, Carol Thompson and the
Architects.
the architect,
Spicer,
Spicer,
Representative.
Spicer, and Tom Fielder
Mhm.
were here from the city to talk to us, and they didn't have a lot. They showed us a little bit, but they heard more from us.
Yeah, they had some drawings of, partially of a green space with parking for cars, and I think basically we objected to that. The plan was really,
Well, they weren't too very far along with that plan.
No,
Well,
We
we
talked about it a little more, but they weren't
that's
real.
a second series of drawings that Spicer gave it, and all of them were terrible.
Well,
They did talk about, as you're talking, I remember about having no curbs.
Yeah.
Because they wanted a flat space, and
Right.
that they would wait till after we did most of our work rather than doing it concurrently.
Right, they would do it afterwards.
Yeah.
I think there was a little better communication and understanding between, because Dean was there for us and Matt and Dan. And I think that Dean was able to make clear that he's got to get some things to get, we have to know later this year a sense of where things are going. And they were just talking about they would do after we did, isn't that what they said?
I was personally disappointed in the meeting
Yeah.
because it's not like we decided 2 months ago we're gonna build a library.
Right,
You know, they should have had that plan together,
right.
or at least a heck of a lot farther along than it was.
Well, the first meeting, it was indicative of the first meeting that we went to down there. Was there 2 meetings down there or just one that we went to?
We went to the DDA meeting.
The DDA meeting and they
Yes.
handed out
First.
3 ideas and then they talked and the man up here talked about his parking next to his building. And then I really did consider that the DDA would have looked and made a decision of what it was they really wanted from what Spicer had said. And I too felt they clearly weren't too very far, and they hadn't, Carol had kept talking about steps that had to be taken, you know, they weren't moving along. So,
So I think that they did not want us, do I remember the story, that they did not want us to put that one curb jut out
Right.
that
Yeah.
was.
right, they
gonna be-
wanted to
yeah.
save that.
And the rest of it is kind of still up in the air,
Yeah,
as far as
so,
anything we do.
and then there was exchange of information between Spicer and Dean and Matt and Dan. So I
Which
guess.
is maybe the best you can, maybe that's
Right.
the best out of this whole, that whole
Right,
meeting.
because Dean was talking about, I just need to know who to talk to, I need to know how to plan.
How to coordinate the 2 projects.
Right.
So, yeah, it was very, from their side, it was very open, we knew what we were doing and when we needed to do it, but we'll see.
So I have a question about that bicycle, the tools,
Yeah.
stand or something.
Mhm.
What place?
That's,
Oh, yes.
that's being taken care of from a donation, correct?
Right.
And is it gonna be on our property or the city's property?
I think we're gonna have to look at the site and see where it most logically should live.
I thought they
and
said the bike rack, by the bike
It
rack.
should probably try to be by the bike rack, so
What-
preferably on our property, but if it fits on the city property, maybe we can ask the city and they put
Well,
this.
because
in, yeah.
one of the things that they were talking about was to have like this bike corral.
Well, that was at the at their meeting,
Mhm.
they had, one of their 3 plans was all about biking. It was for the Iron Bell bike path, and then there would be a bike corral here and a whole bunch of bike stuff.
But all of that is going on the city's property if there's a bike corral. We don't have anything to do with that, correct? Okay.
But I'm glad that somebody's donated tools.
Yeah.
I think that'll be,
That'll be a
I've
service.
seen those.
That'll be a
around,
service
yeah.
for the community, yes. Barbara?
If someone could refresh my memory, in the minutes it says, O'Neill Construction Architect and the steel contractor will hold a meeting to discuss the additional $23,000 that the steel contractor has requested due to an error made by their detailer.
Okay, so I do have some notes on it.
That did get taken, she'll
So
report.
they got function.
Right.
They had a 4-hour meeting
Yeah,
about
they
that.
did. We did.
And I don't think it said many of the issues were items in which they were the problem.
Yeah.
And there was, I think, one issue related to the arches that was wrong. So they are gonna talk further, and they may already have since this meeting was last Tuesday, to come up with an agreement. But they have released the stair plans, and those are detailing, I should say. And that has continued on.
So, and that was what we needed in order to not be held up.
So the money will come from our funds.
There's still.
There may be one part of that, but not, the majority is on them.
Okay,
Yeah, the vast majority was on them,
for errors made.
yeah.
Right. And then you can go on, we're now into the first meeting, the building committee.
So the curtain wall and storefront, all of that, framing for the glass has been, measured and ordered and is on its way. The terrace rail, they're still having a little bit of an issue because of the lighting, so they're still working through that. There was there was built-in lighting that was supposed to come on the inside of the terrace, not out towards, it's supposed to light the terrace, not the world. And so they are still working on through that issue. The radius stair shop drawings have been submitted and approved. We did the payout, which you'll see in the budget. The time capsule, there was some discussion regarding that. There's a column outside of the local history room that would be ideal for that if we decided to do that. There's been some, I think, ambiguity about it, but the idea from what I'm understanding is that it would be kind of be embedded into that column with a plaque outside.
And a safety, a metal safety.
Maybe a
deposit
metal box, but
that
it's
would go
inside,
into the
yeah.
wall, and then the plaque.
Yeah, so, I think the ambiguity is more about what goes in it, and somebody
Right,
kind
didn't
of
we
just leading
decide
that
at that
charge.
meeting that we were gonna go ahead with,
Yeah.
I think we made the decision, we go ahead with the
Yeah.
time
Okay.
capsule, we just had to decide it. So,
We also had a brief meeting with, the new construction manager, I was gonna say contract manager, that's not right, construction manager for the Sumter building. He is starting work on a budget, he said he would base the budget on, three things: the square footage of the building, the past 2 years of pricing, and estimates from the subcontractors. There would be 5 to 7 subs that would probably be working on the building there, and he'd bring those bids to us before finalizing them. A couple things that we agreed on, was that instead of putting a drinking fountain in, which was gonna be an expensive high-low drinking fountain, they suggested a high-low bottle filler, which I think is just fine, and it's much less expensive, and we can provide cups for anybody who needs cups. They are, they are, that little thing in the top of the ceiling where all of, what do they call them, J boxes
Styrofoam.
come together up there. I don't know what a J box is, but it has something to do with the conduit and electricity.
Okay.
There's like a little thing that we had talked about having a natural lighting feature in there, but they're going to seal it all and then make what looks like a natural lighting function there, so, cause that's a kind of a black hole where there is no lighting, and provide a lighting fixture there, which I think would be fine. Their timeline is to try to be ready to move in by the end of October. And we're gonna go have a short meeting there tomorrow, Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. Because there were many aspects we couldn't visualize, because we haven't been there recently, enough to know how it looks now, and whether those things worked for us.
Is the building empty?
I don't think it's empty yet, I don't think so.
I could, I'm not sure if I
I'm not
remember it
sure.
correctly, I think he's leaving by the end of July.
Okay.
the public works.
Yeah.
Water department.
Now,
It did talk about the furnace,
Yeah.
cause that furnace is new, if you remember, but it didn't have, fresh air intake on it. The construction manager said that they could enlarge the coil so that it could handle, they could enlarge a coil and adapt it to have fresh air intake. So they do not believe they have to replace the furnace, they just need to sort of modify it.
And they'll do something that will cut down all that noise.
Yes, they aren't putting a bunch of ductwork in, but they would, they would change the way the air is coming out now so that it has no resistance and will therefore not make noise.
They
I
said that
told him
the-
to explain it like I was 6 or
Right.
7.
It's like the cold air return, the diffuser, is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
yeah,
That they're gonna alter that so that it makes less noise, and they're gonna line the ducts, that's why they're not getting like the.
we talked about lighting, electricity.
The electricity on the floor.
The tiles that are there are asbestos, and they were trying to, avoid digging that up, trenching that, to put in electrical lines into the floor. That's something we actually have to have, so, even though they said it's costly, that has to happen. We can't have electricity coming out from the walls, we have to have it in the floor. Okay, it's a phone meeting.
Right.
So I thought it was a fruitful meeting, and it was good to talk to somebody who actually has looked at the property and has some plans. John Day could not be there because of a court emergency. So Rob Young and Karen Armadas and Chuck was there, but Rob and John talked, and we'll have another meeting that'll be more about the contract, or the lease agreement, I should say.
And that's the one you're having on Thursday at 8 o'clock?
No, Thursday is just to see the building with the construction manager.
So Dan was always talking about the bathroom thing, anything,
So the bathroom, they are going, it's gonna be one bathroom, and they're going to enlarge that, or take out the dividing walls in there, so it will be handicap accessible, and new toilet, new ADA sink, all of that. He says everything is gonna be up to code,
okay,
up to the current code.
so we don't need 2 bathrooms.
No. Well, I don't know if we need 2 bathrooms without signing some kind of waiver that we're not gonna have more than 15 people in there. We may still have to have that. The issue was that
15.
More than 15 people for a gathering type building, you had to have 2 bathrooms. But nobody's worrying about that at this
Okay.
point.
This one's unisex, right?
Yeah, and with a baby changer, diaper changer thing in it.
Okay.
I don't know if I have anything else regarding that. But
So that
we
was,
may have that building open before this building.
that may go this year. That's the plan, right?
They wanna put waterproof vinyl wood plank that Karen said was lovely. Karen Armadas. They're going to replace, they talked about some of the light fixtures have chain pulls on them, they would replace those. The bathroom has a drop ceiling, which is not sanitary, so that will be turned to drywall. They are replacing the AC condenser because it's 15 years old and needs to be replaced.
They say anything about the outside of the building?
The outside is going with the plan that, that architect, Raymond, I can't remember his last name, came up with one exception. Raymond, I think in the back had that, cultured stone stuff covering the, what is that stuff, block at the bottom when you take off the deck. And they're saying, no, we're gonna leave the block showing, the block is fine, we're gonna go up to the block line,
Okay.
you know, no deck. So there was some talk about whether they were gonna keep the deck as a stage for Sumter
Right.
Fest. but
Yeah,
I think
it's
the deck is off now.
Okay.
It'll be a metal roof, which I guess is where a lot of the money is going. That's one of the more expensive parts and has to be pre-ordered.
Well, it'll be what they
It's
want.
moving forward.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
3 different meetings and focus for building committee. And I wanna thank the whole committee for all that work.
I do
And
have,
anything
I
else?
do have one more question.
Um,
So you said that they would be bringing the bids to us. They're also, I'm assuming, taking them to Sumter too.
Oh, I'm sure, since
Okay.
they're paying for it,
Bringing the bids,
that they would show us their
Oh,
the
What
bids
they get.
as they come together.
Okey-dokey. Any other questions of any members about either of our buildings or any of our activities in that way? Then we'll move on to the bylaws committee.
I
Mr.
have
Dorigo?
no report.
No report. The finance committee, Ms. Gates?
I'll defer to our executive.
Yeah. Nope.
No, we did so much last month. that-
Y'all did the work last month, and the personnel committee, Chair Priest isn't here, and it isn't the time, she has to do that stuff anyway. Policy committee, Mary Jane, did we do anything else?
Well, we got the fine-free thing.
All finished.
Yeah, and I've had a number of people ask me, well, what if they never bring the book back? Then what?
It's lost.
I
You
said,
charge
then,
for it.
then we,
It's impossible.
I said, posse after.
Right,
I said, then they have to pay for the book,
right.
whatever it is that they didn't return. But there is a policy meeting tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. We're gonna be discussing bulletin board policy and touch on the meeting rooms for reserving the meeting rooms for the.
Oh, how we're gonna handle that.
Yeah.
What was that last thing?
Meeting room
Mhm.
policies.
It's a policy for the meeting room for scheduling,
Oh.
and what kinds of things are approved that go on in there.
And that's supposed to be a really important policy, because
Didn't I
you
hear
have to be
something?
fair.
Something about the bulletin boards one day, what was that?
Yeah,
That
that's-
was, we're
That's what we're
gonna talk about
discussing.
that.
Are you gonna
You
let
just said bulletin. board.
anybody post their
Right.
own personal job, their business information, or are you gonna limit it to nonprofits, or are you gonna limit it to public events, or,
Okay,
you know,
to be spelled out.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how we got into talking at the last meeting, there was some discussion, and so Mary Jane has scheduled that meeting is tomorrow morning, right?
Correct.
10 and 11 are the meeting times. Very good. Yeah, I do have those down.
And you're all welcome to come.
I will try to come to those. And then I put this on my very own self, and I really don't have anything to say about it, the art committee. Only because I want to remember that we have one. The art committee is very ably chaired by Michelle Montour. We did not have a meeting in in June. There will be one at the end of July, is my understanding, or if there is one, it will be
It says July 30th on the
July 30th. Yeah, and I think that there is supposed to be one July 30th, right? Mary? Okay. All righty, so we'll
Did you call marketing? I didn't hear you.
marketing, I haven't called yet.
Oh.
Oh, I skipped
Skipped it.
over things. I skipped over.
Notice how quiet she was.
I know, it says
She was
something. Wait. I'm sorry, thank you.
No, Sharon, I wanna talk.
I checked it off and everything as if we had it.
Oh, okay. Well, we're scheduled to meet tomorrow also at
11.
at 11, yeah.
right after the policy.
Yeah, and also the Cornerstone event was very well
Very
attended.
nice.
It went very, very well. And I think the public was very excited to come out
It
and,
was a lot of people,
yeah, there
Yeah,
were
it was
quite a
hot.
few people.
Yeah.
And,
miserably hot.
Mary Jo and I were leaving out at the same time, and we were talking to one of the gentlemen that participated, and he said it's rare that they have an event like that for, you know, usually it's for a big building or, you know, some courthouse or something like that, so we were fortunate to see a rare occasion.
I came a little late. Did he talk about that being George Washington's gavel?
Here she
I
is.
apologize, I had to
The
take
gavel
kids to
was
the
George
airport.
Washington's
That's okay,
gavel that
honey.
they take out of the museum for events like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's covered in the newspaper, and
Did she say that?
The
Okay.
second from page,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Oh.
and it looked like a piece of wood.
It's from a cherry tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the cherry tree.
No.
Okay, cut it down.
Yeah, the paper did a very good job.
Very nice.
Get your breath.
That, yeah.
They've been here
Rest
for,
yourself and
how many
don't-
days have they been here, Jen? Seems like a month.
Wow,
Okay.
that's
they?
My
okay.
kids,
Oh,
they had the baby shower and
You've had an exciting time.
very
Actually,
exciting, but.
you got, because I goofed things up, you got here in time to
Oh,
respond about the policy, personnel committee.
Wait, were we done with marketing?
Oh,
I forgot.
that's
Were
very-
we done? Are we done?
oh, I knew you had more.
Yes, yeah.
She did yes.
Come to the marketing committee meeting tomorrow.
You can come tomorrow.
What
There's
time?
a marketing committee, there's a policy committee meeting at 10 tomorrow and a marketing committee meeting at 11.
When is the
And
next?
you are more than welcome to come. If you can't come, don't worry
Yeah,
about
I have a meeting at church and
When is the next event? I know there was like a list of them, but,
It's on the minutes, Harvest Fest.
oh, yes, I should remember that one.
it. And it is, yeah, well kept in the minutes, so that's a very good thing.
And we are not having a petting carnival this month. I don't think so, but.
And then that's the last one. The rest of our events, which are several, will be in 2020 that are having to do with the new. And Harvest Fest doesn't really have to do with the new building because we've been having Harvest Fest all the time, but all these other ones are kind of having to do with the new building. And they are all
I
listed
wonder if we
on
could get like a
page-
little tour part of it or something. I wonder if it's possible, if it would be
A
safe
tour.
enough.
Tour part for
Yeah.
what?
A part of the building inside.
Where the plan for the donor legacy event will be.
Well, I know, but this will be when that's not really done. It's just
Yeah.
like,
What do you mean?
What do you have in mind?
Yeah.
if we could walk people through.
You
the
want a
building
hard
with
hat
the
tour?
marking, Yeah.
My
that'd be a
concept
part
is
of
before
it.
they're totally done, one wall that's not been painted, people can sign the wall with their name, with a magic marker, and then later on paint over it.
So
That
these
way
would all
they
be,
take ownership again.
these would be 2019 activities. It would be fine.
Well, I just was trying to figure out how to tie Harvest Fest to the building.
Oh, you're thinking during
Yeah.
Harvest Fest. Well,
Pony
input,
rides in the lot, no.
this input is very useful for the marketing committee tomorrow.
I don't have any good ideas.
So
but-
your idea was something connected to the Harvest Fest that would allow people to come in the building. And John's idea was one of the last walls to be finished, we could have like a signing, kind of like the beam signing only.
Mhm.
Well, something else for the marketing committee is when Sumter opens, we should have something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so that would be,
They're saying the end of October, beginning of November.
so that would be after
Well, no.
Harvest Fest.
Yeah.
And then
It'll be us after
tomorrow,
Boo-
we
Boo
can-
Bill.
we can talk about these new ideas tomorrow. I don't know that Joy or John will be at the
I
meeting,
can't
but
go.
you can if you want,
Tomorrow?
tomorrow. The marketing committee is at 11.
Or we can just take a note that you wanna write on the wall.
Right. We can take all these, the committee is all here and we will take those ideas under advisement tomorrow. But the idea of a Sumter overlay, yeah, we do have to add that into our list because we didn't know until recently when Sumter was planning to move on that, so, good.
Well, it can't be in more than 15 people.
Well,
Unless we
is
take
it
turns
rotating
going
in and
inside.
out, or, I don't know, let me think about it.
I wanna know who won the brick contest, is it over?
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the person, I think he was 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah,
He came within about 500 or 600 bricks, so he did really
That's
well.
pretty good
close.
job.
Wow.
What was the number of bricks? I know it was,
Oh,
did you put it in the paper?
No, I saw
Somewhere
it
it's
on
We've got it.
Facebook.
Yeah, we've got it posted,
29,600, something like that.
It was like 98,000.
98?
We can check for you. before you go.
Almost 100,000, huh?
Ooh,
Big time.
it was a nail.
Sure looks like more.
I love the way the sun hits those bricks, so beautiful, it really is.
Yeah. It's gonna be a building that will stand the test of time. Now, that we do have a lot of fun about marketing to talk about. Any other ideas? I'm not gonna hurry past marketing.
I did bring up that music in the park is Thursday nights, and we got a captured audience of 400 to 500 people there. We want to
Really?
pass out something, you know, about the library events or whatever.
We could.
I've got some bookmarks I can give you.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be, the bookmarks have quite a few, we might have an updated bookmark by the time we finish our.
Didn't we
marketing
talk?
committee.
Updating it, yeah.
Well, didn't we talk about doing something to remind people that if they want to be part of the charter donor group, they need to do so by December 31st?
Yeah.
Will they allow you to pass something like that out? Do you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
when we talked about it before, you said you were gonna check to see if they let you do it.
I did talk to Ken Voight, he said, I don't see why not. But
And info for the lake. These are all things we can talk about tomorrow at the meeting. Info for the lakeside concerts.
you said that's at 11 o'clock tomorrow?
Yes, the marketing is 11 o'clock, the policy committee is at 10.
Or you can text your ideas.
Yes, you could do that. Okey dokey. Okey dokey. Alma, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Now I can call once again on Linda Priest for the policy, for the personnel committee. Okay, I had already checked that off too. And Mary Jane actually did give a policy committee report update.
What will you be discussing tomorrow?
Bulletin board policy and initial thoughts on reserving meeting study.
Are you gonna work, or is the goal to make them reservable online?
Yes.
Good. That's heavily used.
Good. Anything else? Then I was partway into the art committee report, which is that we will be meeting at on the 30th, is that
Yeah.
what we do? Is that 30th of July? For that art committee, and that committee has been very helpful. It's a very good little group of people. It's a, a little expansion of board, there's people other than board members, and it's been useful.
Is that at 11 also?
That meeting, it'll be the evening.
Seven.
It's,
7.
7 PM, and it's chaired by Michelle Montour. And it's here at the, usually in the tutoring room, but we'll see. So good. That takes care of our committee reports. Any other thing that I forgot? Then we'll move on to approve accounts payable. My favorite time.
And actually, the O'Neill construction pay-up is not in this pack because we didn't get it. It came a little bit later this time, so next meeting we'll probably have two pay-ups, applications from O'Neill.
Okay. The building committee, everybody can know though that the building committee did look over the one so far. So it's in the pipeline, in the process. Do we have a motion for the accounts payable?
Motion to approve accounts payable.
I'll second.
I'll take, it's,
I'll let Barbara
should have
it.
should have its moved and gates supported to spread around our names in the minutes. Any specifics? Oftentimes, board members do wanna have a little explanation.
So Logic is the big money getter this month. But that's the end of it, right? For the
That'll be another
initial.
10%
Okay.
closer to installation. But that's the majority.
Yeah. Are we ready to move along with our vote? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. The ayes have it, there are no dissenting votes. And we now move on to since the other paperwork isn't here, we move on to the director's report. Mary Jo?
Well, we've been plugging away on preparing for the new library. We had a lengthy meeting with Dan regarding shelving and strategies for taking existing shelving from this building and where we can use it, where we can put it, what needs to be replaced, what needs to be added. So Dan spoke with Hillary and I, and we also pulled in some of the other librarians to look at their shelving needs. Amy for adult services and Tara for the children's, Tara and the Kenya. So there's a lot of moving pieces. We are almost done with our RFID tagging project. We anticipate having that completed at the end of July. Michelle Locke, our circulation supervisor, has been in charge of coordinating that project and training staff, training volunteers, and it's been going very, very well. She's to be credited for that. Cornerstone ceremony, again, it was just a wonderful ceremony. I was very, very happy with the amount of people who came. I think everybody had a good time. I don't have too much for you this time.
Well, it's interesting, the Narcan is a statement of a state of affairs,
Yeah.
of the world of affairs, that libraries have to be
To deal with that.
ready
yeah.
for all of that too.
We had a Narcan training program here at the library. It was open to the public about a month or two ago. And two of our staff members did attend that and got the training. So we do have 2 Narcan kits here at the library. Hopefully we'll never have to use them.
Hopefully.
I was reading where some libraries are having social workers on staff too.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're really expanding what the libraries
Well,
can be used for.
schools and schools and libraries libraries are both having a lot of folds that
Didn't used to be.
We have two people that are certified to use this. Will we get more?
Yes.
And each person that's certified has one Narcan
Kid,
kit. And how many doses are in one kit?
one, well,
it's a pen.
two.
It says, on part of this, it says more than one dose.
But you only use it, if you need a second dose, you use it on the person you gave the first dose to. Once you've used the kit,
Yeah.
okay, it's
It's no good for somebody else.
It's something that you stick up someone's nose,
Yeah.
okay, and you squirt it. You give them a dose, in the meantime, hopefully somebody's calling 911, and hopefully they arrive before you need to use the second dose, if you need to use the second dose,
But
okay?
I've had 2 overdoses in my building, and one of them did need 2, and it's pretty quick that you need the second dose.
Right,
They don't
because
come.
they should start coming out of it.
Yeah, after attending a meeting in your building, how many kits do you have in your
We
building?
have no kits right now, but we're having a meeting on it tomorrow.
Wow.
We will get kits. But
Wow.
we are leaving it voluntary for staff if they want. Some staff do not want it.
Are we liable at all if we have a
No.
kit and don't use it?
No,
And don't use it?
no.
Why would you?
If somebody's overdosing?
Well, some staff do
Yeah.
not wanna do this.
No, I understand that, but
So if you're
Wait,
in
wait,
a
wait,
building
wait.
and
We have
that,
something going on, I can't hear. What?
if, at least, I mean, I don't know how Belleville's doing it, but in our building, they are doing it like they do the defibrillator. It's a voluntary choice to learn how to use a defibrillator. And if you do not get trained, it's not hard to use,
Yeah.
but if you don't get trained and you do not
You're
choose
not
to do
liable.
that,
Is
then,
there,
then you're not, the library is not liable because somebody,
I'm
that person may
concerned-
feel guilty the rest of their
I have
life.
a concern about the person, I have a concern about the person giving the dosage in the event someone dies. That's pretty emotional.
Well, yeah, but if you don't give the dose,
I
they
know,
still
but
die.
What do we do for the staff member who applies that and it doesn't work? Do we give them a day off or something to chill out, or, you know, what? I know
Well, that
they do
would
it for
be up to
lifeguards,
that
they do it for
staff
lifeguards. they
person
do
and
that.
for the manager of that staff person. I'm sure that Mary Jo's gonna let somebody off if they are traumatized.
We'll do whatever needs to be done.
Okay, thank you.
So is it yearly training after they go for the first time, do you have to go more than once?
I
No, it
actually
was
don't
an
know
evening.
yet.
It was,
Yeah.
we had it was about a month ago.
Yeah.
Here, the woman who runs SOAR down the street, she came and she did a very, very good presentation. And I was really disappointed that there weren't more people here.
I'd like to run that again in the fall.
Right. But it's something that's done through Wayne County Health System, okay? So I don't know about Washtenaw County, but Wayne County has these kits. This big, looks like a little first aid kit.
Mhm.
You sit and you go through this program and she explains how to use it. And if you feel comfortable doing it, you take a kit home. If you have to use it, there's a little postcard sized thing in it that you have to fill out that has the name of the police officer who responded, his badge number, the car number, the EMS, fire department, anybody
They
else.
still want
that
you
showed
to do
up.
all of the emergency personnel, as they should.
Right, but you have to show that you filled this out because they're gonna check. You take that card down to Herman Kiefer Hospital and they'll give you a new kit.
Okay, are you certified?
Yeah, Rick and I both took it.
Did you say the rest of the staff is gonna have an opportunity to do that?
Yes.
Because we got 2 now, if they both are off duty.
Are you requiring it, or,
No, it'll be voluntary.
yeah? See, I have 2 staff who don't want to in my building, but the rest of the staff do, so in my mind, that means we're covered.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On September
Well,
12th, they're going to have another session at Wayne County Community College.
Are they?
What day?
September
September
12th.
12th.
Right, and Debbie Dingle's going to be there, and police chief and fire chief from Van Buren Township and give a little discussion at the beginning, and then everybody will get trained and they'll get their kits.
Okay, so it'll be another opportunity for us to.
So when did you say-
September 12th, do you know what time?
I think it's
I'm
7
not, but I
o'clock.
will.
In the evening.
So, 'cause that would answer the question, if someone had, both people are off, you know.
We had in the
you're
paper
always
last
here.
week.
Well, they're gonna get more.
Most of the
Most of
time.
them.
No,
Right.
she's not, but,
I mean, I'm thinking, I'm a school nurse, I was,
yeah.
and I was always there, running to 5 buildings if something happened, but
If it- Yeah,
one person should, you know.
And then the
Thing is,
police
you
will also
can't-
have, 911, whoever comes will have kids too.
Right, but you can't cover every possibility. This
No.
is just,
this is just a, oh, yeah, it's just an
but as many
additional
people as
thing
possible. I'll probably encourage the full-time staff for
to
the,
do it.
give them coverage.
Well, it's nice they're giving away the kids, because they're
Yeah.
about 35 or something a piece.
Really?
Yeah.
So at least we don't have to incur
Yeah.
financial.
Nasal spray. Yes,
Yeah.
in the case of one of the gentlemen that did it, I mean, he came back later, he was probably in his 30s or early 40s, he was young, and he passed out in our new book room, and he came back, a couple months later, and I recognized him, and he looked at me, and he knew I recognized him, and I said, "That's not gonna happen again, I hope." And he said, "Nope, I've been taking care of it, I can't tell you how much I'm glad they called it 911." So, because he has a kid. And so, it's, once you go through that with somebody, it's hard, it would be hard to not do it. And I didn't do it because we didn't have them, but the police got there soon enough
Oh,
to
they
do it,
did.
yeah. But we called the police so that we could do it.
This is, as I said, an indication of the world as it is today, things that librarians have not always thought of as what they do, but it is important for public spaces. And that's part of the director's report, and you did have information in there that we all found very interesting, as always, so I thank you for that. Anybody have any questions,
yeah,
Mary Jo?
I do. Do we have an AED in the building?
No.
Okay.
Our friends of the library bought ours.
No, we should have.
We should look at February building.
Yeah, and then Red Cross came into
Upstairs.
training.
Upstairs and downstairs.
I'm glad we have nurses and all on our board.
When I was at Brighton, it was the fire department that did the training, but at, in Oopsie, it was the Red Cross,
Yeah.
you know. And they did CPR, which had totally changed since last time.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
All very interesting. We can, if that concludes your report, Mary Jo, we will move on to trustee
That
comments.
concludes my report. If you promise to read the article about ebook lending.
Any comment about it?
Read the article on ebook lending?
Just,
It's all
a lot of,
changing.
the publishers keep trying to change their model for selling ebooks to libraries.
They can get more money.
Usually cut down from that, so.
Uh-huh.
So perpetual ownership, meaning you have,
Basically, one of the publishers, Hatchet Book Group, wants to have an ownership model that gives the library 2-year access to that title.
So currently, if we buy an audiobook or a regular book, we have access until we decide we don't have access.
right,
Until we wanna resell it, or it disappears, or it's no longer relevant. This is changing everything, it's more like a rental.
Like you're
For
renting,
2-year
you're renting a
rental.
book.
Yeah.
that's annoying.
That would be troubling.
And then the whole thing about, trying to hold back the new books, so that we don't get access when the bookstores do. Hatchet didn't do that, thank goodness, but.
But that's all I have otherwise.
Well, both of these actually do talk about the world as it is and as it is becoming, and the kinds of adjustments libraries have to make for that. Very interesting discussion. For the trustee comments, I wanted to start over with you, Alma. I know you're busily taking notes.
Alma.
Alma.
Quit teasing her, she's gonna resign.
She's well protected by Mary Jane is right next to her to protect her.
Yeah, not really a whole lot, just wanted to thank everyone that came out to make the Cornerstone event a success. And for those that are available, we will be meeting tomorrow, so you're more than welcome to attend. Any good ideas would be very helpful.
Thank you. Mary Jane?
Not much. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. I don't know if anybody got to see the fireworks that BYC put together.
I heard of them. It was really.
They were
Sounded.
amazing. And I think I finally have my husband back, because for the last two weeks, he's been gone almost every night, putting things together with explosives.
That sounds scary.
With about 15 other people,
On the pyro team.
the pyro team.
And they have jackets.
They have shirts that
Oh, shirts.
say, if you see me running, try to keep up.
Well, that's reassuring.
I like that. No, but it was really amazing. I can't believe how hard they worked.
Yeah, they did.
They even had scuba guys in the water anchoring the.
Yeah, they had 4 barges and they had to anchor them. So there's some guys in the club that do scuba stuff, and they went out and did that, took care of that. The police were great, keeping the traffic from encroaching on the barges, low traffic. So, yeah, it was great.
Was this the first year the BYC did it?
No.
No.
That way?
Oh,
So
this
they
one,
first time on the
yeah,
barge, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Last year they were on a barge, but they were right in front of the club. No, they weren't on a barge, they were on the cement. But, yeah, it worked out really well.
It was very safe. I felt
Yes,
very safe.
it's very safe. That's it.
Good. Linda?
I'm finally getting my head back in the game after having the baby shower and the kids home, and well, John knows, he lives next door. Just very different than the quiet life of Randy and me, this whole, all the family, so, things will calm down a little bit from here
Well,
on.
that's all happy
Happy, busy.
Happy things.
Yes, yes. And I did, the one comment I made about the social worker, I've done some reading about that, and I just found that such an interesting thing, the direction that the library is moving in, everything for everybody, and it's really hard to keep abreast of all the
Well, and part of that, I mean, we encounter stuff every day, I mean, we're. somebody that
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
really
you
come
can't be
in,
expected to know how to handle each one of these things, homelessness, drug problems.
But if Belleville ever wants to feed children in the summer,
Yeah,
food
there's another
cavities is
thing.
right there for you.
Right.
I mean, just think of all the different, and people with mental illness, you've got it all, so a social worker's not that far off the mark, I don't think. So, anyway, that's my comment.
That's why I'm a good match for MCs, because I have a social work undergrad.
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank I had never been to a Cornerstone ceremony, and it was more amazing than I thought it would be. I just didn't even imagine that they would be in their uniforms and all of that, and Washington's, that they would actually get that from the museum. I thought the whole thing was pretty impressive.
They actually marched all the way from the building down the street.
Main
Oh,
Street.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And MJ is an architect now.
Yes. I got to be the architect.
So that's what they call who's in charge of the building. I just read a novel about masons.
The
Are they gonna
symbolism
put that in the
Yeah.
northeast corner?
Kind of, sort of.
That's
Our
where they
corners are all,
I know. But that's sort of northeast.
yeah, we're kind of tilted here, so it's hard to,
Get it exactly.
yeah.
I was
Just do as best you
disappointed they
can.
didn't put it into the building,
I
that's
know.
all. I thought they were going to lay it.
Yeah, I thought that too, but.
It was pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
When will they lay it, I wonder? I wonder when that part
It
happens.
probably will be closer
Probably
to
soon,
2020.
well, I don't know, probably in the not too distant future.
Really?
Because
They're already
big
doing the
masons are
brick.
doing the brick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like the brick better than I thought I would. After when they did the first wall, it was kind of grayer than I expected,
But
but
the
once they
wash,
washed it,
yeah, the
that's-
wash.
Yeah, so wash really made the
Yeah.
colors come through.
Yeah.
It is more true to what it's gonna look like.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, then Barbara.
Barbara. So, Mary Jane, where is it being kept until the time when it's?
Oh, the cornerstone.
O'Neill Construction has it.
Oh, they took it.
Yeah, it's on site.
It's in that room, in their building.
All right. And, second thing, I was at my, hairstylist today, and, she brought up the fact, boy, that library is going up really fast. She has a bath going home every day. And she said, it's really fascinating. I didn't know it's gonna be that big. And all the people in the salon got in a conversation. So, people are
Got the
watching.
buzz
Yeah,
going.
they're watching as we progress.
They're slow, I mean, the corner, they're starting that building, the building there, and this,
Little restaurant.
yeah, this other property, there's like
At the
building
end of the
everywhere.
alley or the
Yeah,
starting
yeah,
line?
lots of building happening.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
More progress, that's progress.
I just wanna know what grocery store.
Well,
my
I think
main
that's the big question. I think the thing moves
Yeah.
ahead once he gets that straight.
You know, boycott it if it's not a certain one.
Well, I wanna have community input, cause I don't want something that people aren't gonna use. You know, you wanna have, the reason people want one there
It's
is
a
because.
business, you can't have community input.
No, I mean, not community, but like my husband's on the planning commission, that kind of thing, where you
Well, I
take
think
into
But it's
It's
still a
still what
business,
they're
it's
approving.
gonna be whoever.
Yeah,
But
it's
what,
rent.
but the reason people wanted one is because they don't wanna go across the bridge for fresh vegetables and things like that. So you don't want another thing we have on the party store, you don't want
Well,
a
he
party store.
told, he
It's
did
not
tell
gonna
at
be a
the,
party
this
We don't
isn't,
know what it's.
this isn't our
It's not gonna be
business, but
a
at the
business.
planning commission and at the DDA, I guess, when he talked about the 5 grocery stores that he's gone to, that he's looking at.
Mhm.
And that's Trader Joe's, Fresh Time, the small Kroger City, and there were 2 others. Do you remember?
Market would be
But that's expensive.
awesome.
Yeah,
What was
all of
it?
those would be
Well,
awesome. I'd be fine with, but it is a business, it's not.
I agree, I just,
think
I
it
wanted
must
to,
be good, though.
to serve the problem that we have, which is
Fresh
people don't
foods.
wanna go over the bridge,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I care about.
We wanted to stay open.
And we wanted to stay
Patronize
open,
it.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think that's the big thing.
I don't think that's gonna be an
When
issue.
another Farmer Jack's back.
But that was closed, the other one's closed.
You
because
got
they
to
did-
bring Farmer Jacks back from,
Farmer
there aren't
Jacks
any
left.
Farmer Jacks
No,
anymore.
they're not.
So,
They're all going.
And I haven't seen the little Krogers. There's
Yeah, I
like-
haven't seen one.
They're in the south, I think.
Oh, the south.
It's called Kroger City.
Cause it's a Michigan company,
Kroger?
yeah.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
Numbers in Texas, they have them all over.
do they really?
They do
Well,
have
but
it in
she was,
Texas, cause I've ordered for my mother there.
Meyer is a
Fries.
Michigan company, but I don't know that Kroger is.
I don't know where their headquarters is, I don't know.
I don't know.
whatever
Is there
goes
another,
in that spot, that property that Scott Jones bought is going to be outstanding, because that's the way he does stuff. He doesn't do.
That's true, you know that from the
And I
BYC,
agree,
it's lovely.
I've seen drawings of what he plans, it's
Right.
quite amazing.
It's not gonna be.
Right.
It's just, will that company accept that place, like Trader Joe's, you know, has probably a certain area that they,
It's up to the business
It's
and they
absolutely
make
true.
those decisions.
and I'm excited about it though, that's all, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
Okay. John?
Alma, on the marketing committee, I just talking about the laying of the cornerstone. I think it'd be cool for the newspaper to be there and a senior citizen who's a block or bricklayer laying the cornerstone in the community, a senior citizen from this area with a grandchild at the same site, and have a picture of that in the paper. Okay, next thing.
What is that
Multi-generational.
symbolic of? I mean,
Symbolic of community
Past and the
involvement.
future,
okay,
Pardon me?
the past
past and the future.
Yep, yep.
Cool.
Also, last 4th of July, last Thursday, we had an Elvis concert. Only about 200 people showed up. I was not there because we had a number of people at our house. But I did coordinate by phone, via phone, to have the ski club, 8 skiers, ski past the audience with American flags. It was pretty cool. Actually, the band at the time, Elvis, was on, just started taking a break, and they announced it from the stage, and people walked from the audience to the shore, to the edge of the lake, or the edge of the hill, and watched them, so that was cool. Also, this Thursday, Jay Jill will be singing, she's really good, really good.
What's the
We
name
should-
again?
Jill Jack.
Jill
excuse me.
Jacks, yes.
It should be an outstanding
She sang it.
performance. Also, Therese Antonelli from the Minton, the real estate people. They're the sponsor of this one, in a way. We're celebrating the sponsors, and she's gonna have ice cream social, so free ice cream that
Is she
night.
the one who's doing the bees too?
Sorry?
Sponsoring the bees?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the concert again is from 7 till 9. That's all.
Thank you.
So now we're almost finished, it's time for chair comments, and my comments are acknowledgement of the cornerstone laying ceremony. I wanna thank Vice Chair Mary Jane Dawson for being the lead voice, and I'm learning the architect. Taking.
And he said I get triple K now.
There you go, and also for organizing the ice cream. I want to thank all the board members who were able to attend that event. And I want to thank Alma for the marketing committee, kind of for getting, kind of pulling us together to get our thoughts together and move along on all these events. And I've had good travels, and I'm glad to be home for a bit. And with that, John Jericho.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
That's a non-debatable motion. All those in favor? All those in favor? Aye.